spot. All right, welcome to this past life reading and healing session. So, if you're new to me and my work, I'm Tracy Goody. I'm a practical ascension guide, and I'm channeling with the Akashic records today. So, I'm going to just intuitively choose a few people. Generally, what happens with these sessions, and there's a lot of energy that flows through. So, even if I'm choosing, somebody that is not you, there's going to be some type of energy or insight that's flowing through. So we're going to get started, and I just want to take another quick look and make sure. I think I got one more to add. So if you're with me live on the call, you are automatically like added to the list for the reading. And again, I'm intuitively choosing, but I found that one of my card decks, oh, my mic is being weird. Just a second here. I should probably ground that energy. Can you guys still hear me all right? It changed my a different microphone that's not like my good one. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. And if so, I won't bother messing with the technology. Yes, awesome. Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys. All right, so I noticed one of my card decks has numbers on it. So between everybody who's here live and everybody who wrote to me that couldn't make it live but wanted to be included, I've got a card for each of you. So I'm going to intuitively choose that way, which is a little bit different, but I think pretty fun. And I do just want to say, before we really get into this energy, I've got this card deck that's like really chaotic. There's 130 cards in it. It's just like a mishmash of all decks, right? It's what I work with. It's so much fun. And so I drew a card from it this morning. And of course, it's the Freya card, the one with like the big full moon on it, like really amplifying and really solidifying our intentions for the day, to work with that moon energy and to work with really the cycles and work with what's ready to be transformed. So we got a little bit of validation on that. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you want to join me, just join in with whatever feels good, or just kind of leave it if you don't feel like it. We're going to start just breathing for a moment and just setting the intention to settle into your body. Just visualize, sense, or imagine your energy flowing back to you. Now we're going to bring in some ribbons of energy right away with this. So we're going to visualize, sense, or imagine that there are these it almost reminds me of like what the northern lights look like, of like a ribbon of energy, right? So we're going to pull some ribbons of blue and green energy, and we're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine that you're just wrapping those around your physical body. Really, really good. So just visualize, sense, imagine you are wrapping those ribbons of energy around your body, and you are pulling all your focus, all your attention back within, just for the purpose, just for the duration of this session. You're just taking your focus and attention back into your body so you can receive whatever is highest and best. Really, really good. Beautiful. We're going to just do a few more breaths like that. We're just pulling that energy back in, pulling that energy back in. And of course, with high energy periods like this full moon, we need so much grounding. We need so much anchoring into our body and grounding as light workers, as sensitives. Really good. We're processing a lot through the cells of our body and through our energy system. Really good. So again, we're just wrapping ourselves up in those blue and green ribbons of energy, utilizing those rays of light. And then we're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine that we are anchoring into our body and down through our body, all the way down into the earth and connecting to the center of the earth. So just breathing in this space. And you're just going to remind yourself in this space, I am safe, I am centered, I am grounded. And even if you're not feeling all the way there yet, I am safe, I am centered, I am grounded. Beautiful, really, really good. All right, so I'm going to begin. And if you've got any questions or comments, just add those to the chat box at any point. Otherwise, I'm just going to draw a card to represent a person, and we're going to pull through. So, yes, I think I started saying this. I'm sorry, I am a little bit ungrounded. I've been like just partying with this full moon this morning. So, the way these sessions normally work is after I choose somebody, there's going to be a soul memory flowing in, and that soul memory is going to carry with it either like some type of karmic clearing energy, so some energy that's going to be for the full group as well as that person, or it's going to be some type of activation energy or insight. So we kind of leave it very, very open for whatever is best for the group. But I'm thinking with this full moon, it's going to be a really good one. Okay, so let's take a look here. So the first person that I'm going to be reading for is, this is such a fun way to do it. First person I'm going to be reading for is Serena. Yay. And I know, Serena, it is like super duper early. It's super duper early for Marlu as well, because you're on the West Coast as well, I believe. So thank you guys for being here early. Well, I guess not super duper early, 8 a.m. But yeah, so we're going to start with Serena. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's pull in a soul memory for Serena and see what we're working with here. So immediately there's an animal guide that's flowing in. This is an elephant. Okay, so I want to stretch this out a little bit. And is this a lifetime where this is a lifetime where you lived kind of in that savannah place. You lived in Africa, India type of thing. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So this is kind of like an African Indian lifetime. So let's see what wants to pull through. The elephant is so, so key in this here. That was such an important element of your life there, and even working with them and connecting with them spiritually. Um, it felt like they were such a big part of you. Okay, so what are we doing with this lifetime here? We're working with that elephant energy. Awesome. Yay. I'm great to have you here, Serena. So we're going to work with this elephant energy to begin. And this is a really fun energy to bring in because this elephant energy is pulling in a lot of grounding energy. There's a lot of deep reds flowing through as well. So let's work with this. Okay, so let's just take a few moments breathing. And we're just going to set the intention to call in that elephant, that medicine that flows through from the elephant. Just set the intention for that. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing or exactly what to expect, but we're just setting the intention to flow that into your system. If there is another animal guide that's going to be more resonant with you, that will show up in your energy field as well. What's really important here are those 4 legs on the ground, those 4 feet on the ground, that deeply grounded, deeply earth connection. So I want us to just feel into. So I'm kind of going to guide us through some things to feel into because those are creating the frequencies that we need within our body right now. So we're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine. Either you're walking alongside an elephant or you're riding on one, or maybe you just want to allow yourself to fully embody what that feels like. So we want to get a good visual and a good sensation of the elephant walking, of the vibrations in the earth that move through as that elephant walks, the amount of stability, the amount of certainty that goes with that. So again, we're just feeling into what it feels like to move forward on our path with this elephant medicine, what it feels like to move forward on our path with this energy of stability, this energy of security, this energy of certainty. And now some of you may be naturally invoking that divine feminine energy. There's so much of that sparkly ruby red energy coming in, those deep, deep reds flowing in as well. So we're welcoming this into our space. So you may start to be feeling more on your feet chakras, more on your root chakra now as this energy is starting to activate. So we're just going to keep breathing with this for a moment. And then you can just ask intuitively within yourself, is there a particular message that this spirit animal wants to bring through for you today? Is there a particular message that wants to flow through? It's safe to be grounded, maybe. It's safe to be focused. It's safe to be calm. There's a big message flowing through here around chaotic energy is something that I talked about yesterday, I think, on a call a little bit. But there's some insight flowing through here around chaotic energy. And a lot of us are in this space of chaotic energy, not really sure where things are going to land, not really sure on what the outcome is. And so what the guides are bringing through is this is kind of like when the elephant lifts up its foot and puts it back down. So before it's back down, it's almost like it doesn't know where it's going to be landing on the earth. So again, just kind of applying that to whatever you're moving through. If you're moving through a bit of chaotic energy, that even though you don't know where that foot's going to land, like it is going to land, you are going to land. So there's a lot of that supportive energy coming through. Just like what it's bringing up is anywhere that you're feeling really that uncertainty, visualize, sense, or imagine you've got this energetic tether that's connecting you to the earth, and that's helping you to regain your certainty and your sense of trust. So it's not about knowing the path or knowing what's going to happen next or all the details or anything like that, but it's about developing that certainty, that security, and that trust within yourself so that it can unfold in the highest and best way. And many of us that have been on the spiritual path for a while are being initiated into this right now. We're being initiated into deeper levels of understanding what that means to create from that place of divine connection and divine trust. So there's a whole lot of this energy flowing through. We're really receiving an infusion of this. So again, this is Serena's beautiful energy that's flowing through her karmic energy. And I just want to check in, is there any karmic cleanse? There's no karmic energy to cleanse around that. It's just all activation energy. So Serena, what I would encourage you to do specifically is at some point in the next little while, just take a moment and just connect into that lifetime. Just even bring up an elephant or a picture of an elephant when you feel like you need that stability, security, and certainty. And just let yourself feel it. Let it just kind of reverberate through your system. This is like a bit of an Akashic awakening that this is flowing through for you. Such beautiful energy. Okay, so we're going to run an activation based on this, though. All right, so we're just going to breathe for a minute. And so this activation is working with your third eye, your sense of perception, as well as your root chakra, your sense of grounding, your sense of stability. So again, we're being asked to really expand our sense of perception right now, really expand what it means to move forward in our sovereignty, but releasing control. So this is an energy of moving forward in surrender. This is an energy of moving forward in our full empowerment. So we're going to breathe for a moment here. And again, we're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine that there are streams of energy flowing into our energy system, flowing into our chakra system right now. And just keep breathing. There's a lot of that red energy spiraling up from the earth, spiraling into our root chakras. And we're going to use this to really soothe the ego, soothe the mental energy and the logic, soothe any parts of ourselves that are having a lot of doubts or having any doubts or feeling like we are in the past still. So this is kind of one more piece. There's a lot of information flowing through with this, but the energy is going to keep running, and then I'll run the actual activation for it in a moment. But the other piece that's coming through is kind of using like a bad dream strategy. So this is something that my guides have brought through to me as well. So when you are moving on your path and you start to get some nerves, you start to get some doubts, you start to get some fears, you start to feel some of this old program coming to the surface. Maybe it's some lack, maybe it's some self-doubt, maybe it's some uncertainty, anything like that. When you notice those things come up, it's as though you're treating yourself as though you are in a bad dream. You're waking up from a bad dream. So if you were soothing somebody, if somebody was having a bad dream and you had to wake them up and you kind of let them know, that was just a dream. It's all right. You are in this reality now. You are safe right now. So with that bad dream strategy, you're doing a very similar thing, where when you catch yourself and you notice yourself in that old pattern of lack or doubt or whatever it may be, that you just kind of take a moment. So you're acknowledging, okay, I see you're in a bad dream, and that's all right. So you're taking a moment, giving that acknowledgement. And then you're letting them know they're safe. And then just kind of natural things you would do if somebody was having a really bad dream and you were there with them, letting them know they're safe and letting them know, letting yourself know you are in this reality now. You are in your abundant reality now. You are in your empowered reality now. You are in your clear reality now. Whatever it may be that you're working through, you wake yourself up from it. And then in doing so, you're stabilizing yourself more presently in that reality you're wanting to move through and into that reality you're wanting to move into. So you stabilize that and you stabilize that in your energy field in a kind of consistent basis. So this is kind of like a bit of a mindset thing. Okay, so hopefully that is making some sense and resonating so far with those of you here and for you, Serena. So we're going to run that activation energy now. So with this activation energy, we're going to just be breathing, visualizing, sensing, or imagining just like a really soft red energy floating up. Like the way that it's looking in the energy field is like, it almost looks like a deep red smoke, but it's also like kind of like a pillow-like energy. So we're going to visualize, sense, or imagine that coming up into our body. And that's just soothing the parts of the ego, soothing the parts of ourselves that is hesitant to move forward or is hesitant to move into something that is unknown. We just want to bring that soothing energy in. Really, really good. And in breathing that soothing energy in, we're also letting ourselves know, we're reminding ourselves that it's safe to let go. So what that ego's been holding on to so tightly that this is the way it has to go, or this needs to happen, or anything like that, any of those tight things that your ego's holding on to, a specific outcome, anything like that. So we're just going to visualize, sense, imagine that ego version of yourself, that version of yourself that's holding on to the past, that's holding on to that comfort zone, the way things were, that she's just being totally wrapped up in this very plush, deep red blanket. And so in doing so, whatever she's holding on to really tightly, you might visualize, sense, or imagine, or notice something in her hand or something in their hand. And we're just letting her know it's safe to let that go. Maybe it's pressure. Maybe you're feeling it somewhere in your body or your back. It's safe to let this go. And we're just going to keep flowing in that deep red energy. Just keep breathing it up from the earth. Just allowing that to soothe that ego. Really, really good. And again, we're bringing in what we initially started out with here is those ribbons of blue energy. We're bringing in those beautiful ribbons of blue energy. And we're just wrapping up that ego. So that ego's got that big ruby red comforter around her. And then that beautiful blue ribbon of energy is coming in just to kind of coax her into letting that go. So the activation energy that's flowing through here is really based on it's safe to let go and be who I really am. It's safe to let go and experience what I came here to experience. So there's going to be some light language flowing through, just breathing with this. And again, this is just speaking on that subconscious level of what you're ready to let go of in order to step into this deeper sense of security, safety, certainty in your life. Kiantike fasante kiantika, senti kiantike teko fasantika, senti kiantike teko fasante kiantika, senti kiantike teko fasante kiantike teko fasante kiantika, senti kiantike teko fasante kiantike teko fasante kiantika. Awesome, beautiful. So we're just going to breathe with that for a moment. And again, just kind of notice what jumped out to you about that. If there's anything particular that I mentioned or any particular energy that really resonated, and just revisit it in the next few days and see what other insights or what other energies flow through to you. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to pull somebody else here. So let's see what comes up next. And again, if something is resonated with you, or you've got a specific question about something I bring up or something I mention, just feel free to add that to the chat box. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rolling on here. Okay, so let's see. Next up, I am going to be reading for That feels right. Reading for Jeanette. So Jeanette is not here, but she did write in advance. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling in that energy. I've connected with Jeanette energetically before, so I do know she's got a lot of angelic presence to her. I'm just gonna grab a sip of water before we keep going. And I can feel that angelic, excuse me, I can feel that angelic energy really coming in. I think as probably the soul memory that's going to flow in for Jeanette here. So let's take a look here. So much beautiful, like what's already the theme, and I know I'm just on the second, I know I'm just on the second person that I'm kind of reading for and looking into here, but that theme of like nature, that theme of earth, that theme of animal guides, that theme of what we can learn from nature, what we can understand, and what we can embody from the animals. So things that when we are moving through our life and we feel like we don't have, you know, what it takes, we don't have the emotional capacity, we don't have really understanding how to move through things, or we need more strength, is we can look to the outside, look to nature. Don't get in your head too much about it or analyzing it. Just feel what you're drawn to and just literally let yourself absorb that energy. You're focused on it, and you're activating those neurons in your mind that are those mirror neurons that are bringing you into resonance with whatever it is you're observing. So even as I'm opening up Jeanette's energy here, it's just an absolute powerhouse of this nature energy, these animal energies. Okay, so let's take a look for Jeanette and what exactly is the soul memory that's flowing through here. So you're an angelic soul in this lifetime. I think you've always been an angelic soul, but you're an angelic soul in this lifetime, and let me get a little bit deeper into this here. It's so cool. This lifetime, it felt more like you were like I want to say borderline like elemental, like fairy type of energy. But it's not quite. It's like it's still very angelic. So it is there a specific word for this that I'm looking for? It's like you were a guardian of the forest, a guardian of the woods, a guardian of like the beauty of the earth in this lifetime. So it feels kind of, it doesn't feel nearly as solid as like a human life would be or something like that. So it is kind of a different dimensional soul memory that's flowing through here. And I just want to check in, and it's giving like Fern Gully vibes. If anybody remembers that movie, that's very, very much what it's giving, Jeanette. But it's just so much protection, so much nurturing. Like you are very much a part of the earth itself. Could have been a bit of a tree spirit. Like it's just you were the spirit of the forest in this particular lifetimes. And I've seen soul memories like this before. They're some of my favorites to connect to because they are powerful. So Jeanette, whenever you do watch this, I invite you to like go into a bit of a meditation with this. First, wrapping yourself up in a rainbow energy. And anybody that wants to connect to a similar energy, you can do this as well. First, wrapping yourself up in a rainbow energy. And so this is representative of that angelic frequency, of that frequency really of the highest and best good. So just kind of like breathing that in, and we can kind of do this here because we are connecting into this now and we're seeing what medicine it's ready to bring forward. So first thing we're doing is we're allowing that angelic energy to flow through our body. And you may feel like you need to ground a little bit more with this, inviting in that angelic frequency. And if you have connected with angels, archangels before, and you have, a favorite or one you connect with, you can invite them in or you can leave it open. If you don't resonate with angels a lot, stick with the colors, focus on that rainbow energy, whatever really feels good to you here. So we're just breathing in, we're pulling in that rainbow angelic light. And what's coming forward with this, and the kind of the gift that's flowing through from Jeanette's lifetime, is the crazy empowerment of allowing spiritual support. So in this lifetime, Jeanette was kind of not quite as physical. So that spiritual support was always present, was always a part of her, was just very normal part of her consciousness. So we want to be inviting that into our life right now. Because again, it's all about creating ease and creating flow of moving forward. So that whenever we do go through, the ups and the downs or the challenges or whatever, when we've got that strong spiritual support, we've got the emotional support that flows with that strong spiritual connection, we become unstoppable. We become so empowered. We're living so in the present moment. We can feel all of that. Like, if you can just even imagine that, like, as you're walking forward on your path, you've got like this team of guides that are always with you, that are like literally cheering you on, literally thinking you're doing like amazing, like 100% could not get any better. Like, they're so happy with you. And you may think, well, I made a weird choice here, or I didn't do what I feel like I know I would do that would be best for me. And the guides are like, it doesn't matter. Like, you are doing so good. So it's like that unconditional, emotional, unconditional love support. So this is a lot of what's flowing in with this angelic energy to begin with. I'm going to take a breath. There's just so much of it. Like, I find it hard to stay relaxed throughout this. Okay, so again, calling in that rainbow angelic light, letting it wrap around ourselves. So the activation energy that's flowing in with this, it's running twofold. First, we're going to do a bit of an energetic clearing to let go of, to discard is the words that the angelics are bringing up, to discard what is creating resistance to accepting that spiritual support, to accepting all of that bountiful, like abundant support that's available to us. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So again, we're going to breathe. We're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine that rainbow light is all around you, just as though the light that flows through like a crystal you've got in the window, or through a glass of water, or through like an actual rainbow in the sky, just that beautiful, soft rainbow energy. Allowing yourself to soak in it for a moment. And now, of that rainbow energy, of that frequency, the violet ray is really coming up. That purple ray is really coming up and kind of creating this space all around you of this purple light, so that you can be discarding things out of your energy that is creating resistance to accept this. So discarding disbelief that that spiritual support is there, discarding anything that you're holding on to, that you are not enough, or not worthy, or haven't been perfect enough, or are not acceptable enough, or not lovable enough to accept that spiritual support. Any pressure you're feeling that accepting spiritual support, or having or deepening that spiritual connection, has to look a certain way, or that you need to be worthy to accept that type of a spiritual support. You have to, do a certain protocol or follow a certain religious standard or anything like that to be worthy of that support. So any of those beliefs that are being held on to, for those of you that work in the Akashic records, you may already start to see it, but there's a library of beliefs that's really coming up for a lot of you right now. And those angelic guides are taking those beliefs that are not resonant with this, that are not supportive of you connecting into that spiritual support and your truth. And they're just taking those beliefs out as though they are books in the library. So just breathe and visualize, sense, or imagine any of those books, any of those beliefs being pulled out of the library, being put into that violet ray, into that purple energy, which just dissolves it. It brings in so much unconditional love and forgiveness. It lets it go. Any tightness you're holding in your body, that it's not okay, it's not safe, or you're not allowed to receive this amount of spiritual support, taking it out. Anywhere you are holding back, giving yourself permission to receive the spiritual support, because maybe you don't know what it feels like, or maybe you haven't really let yourself connect into that in a consistent way. It's giving yourself full permission to receive that spiritual support that's available to you now. And just remembering, on this ascension path, something that maybe you couldn't feel a year ago, or 6 months ago, or 6 weeks ago, now when you tune into it, you start to feel it. And that feeling, even if it's just a little tiny bit, it's going to start to expand. It's going to start to grow, so that you're just like in this ball of light as you're going about your day that just is making everything that you're doing so much more impactful, so much more joyful, so much more meaningful for you on that soul fulfillment level. Really good. So we're going to breathe for a few more moments here. Really, really good. Really good. It's safe for me to pull this out of my field. It doesn't matter if you know what the belief is or anything like that. We're just dropping it down, dropping it down. Really good. So we're going to pull that violet flame, that violet energy, that violet ray up and through your body now. So we're going to like do a bit of a rinse. Just imagine or sense that that violet energy is moving from the soles of your feet and it's moving up your legs. It's moving up your knees, up your thighs. It's moving all the way up your body. Just breathe that in so you can visualize, sense, or imagine your whole body is just being saturated in that violet light. Really, really, really good. It's safe for me to let go. It's safe for me to reclaim my divine empowerment. It's safe for me to give myself full permission to accept this spiritual support right now. Really, really good. Breathing with that. Breathing with that. So we're going to go ahead now and invite in your angelic team or whatever you most resonate with there. Going to invite in your angelic team and just ask them to surround you. Ask all of the different angelics that work with you, that have been here with you, that are here for future you, past you, any version of you, all of that angelic support. We're going to welcome that in. I'm going to have you visualize, sense, or imagine that you are being gifted with a strand of DNA. And this is a strand of DNA that, again, it's all those rainbow colors, all of that. So the angelics are gifting you with this strand of angelic DNA to help you really acclimatize to your next spiritual evolution, really acclimatize to the spiritual support that will bring you through to this next evolution into deeper connection with your truth. So we're going to breathe for a moment. Again, there'll be some more light language here. And my main archangel is Archangel Metatron. I work with a lot of other ones, but Archangel Metatron's just always right there available. So he's going to be facilitating this aspect of it. And just breathing with this. And just visualize, sense, or imagine accepting that rainbow strand of DNA into your physical body, allowing that to anchor in, allowing that rainbow energy just to move through your whole being, and a little bit of light language here to anchor that in. Kiantika fasantika, kiantikitika antikitika santikiantikitiko fasantikiantikitiko fasantikiantikitiko fasantikiantika. Cool, amazing. Whew. Really good. So we're just going to let that all settle in. Beautiful. So I'm just going to take a look at the comments and then I'm going to do another one. So, Jeanette, I know you kind of just got a little piece of that life, but I do recommend that you connect in with it because it feels really, really, really powerful, and really beneficial. So I'm just going to see, Serena says, beautiful, potent, and perfect. Thank you. Leaping into something new and not sure what it is. Yeah, that was totally the energy of it, right? Beautiful. Marlou says, hi, Tracy, resonating with the first and now going into a huge change of outgoing, upgrading expressions of Christ consciousness in the public light, language, speaking, writing, singing, Akashic energy, what past gifts are coming online. Yeah, probably a lot. All right. Okay. So I'm going to choose one more person here. Magda says, my whole body is vibrating after that last bit. I could feel that. I knew you were. So Magda's actually an in real life friend of mine. So I'm really excited to have her here. So thank you for being here. But I did notice that as I was scanning the group, I'm like, oh, she's going to resonate with this angelic one here. Okay, all right, so let's take a look here. So I'm going to pull through one more person that I'm going to pull through some energy on. And it's going to be, let's see here. It's going to be, that one is correct. Of course it is. Of course it is. I'm gonna show you guys the results here in a second of what of how that came through. But okay, so I'm reading for Patricia. So again, Patricia's not here with us. So I'm gonna read through Patricia's energy, but I just want to show you guys. So the card deck that I'm working with to choose the cards for, who's gonna go, it, these are the three cards that came up. It's the red, the magenta, and the scarlet. So that divine feminine energy, that message of really grounding, really nurturing, and really supporting yourself throughout this full moon is really like it's quite obvious. So just kind of a reminder to do that. Okay, so let's check in with Patricia here, and then I'll probably scan through and I'll see if something comes up for that question, Marlou. And if anybody else has like one like specific question, I'm going to do a quick zoom through of those as well if I've got some time here. Okay, so Patricia, I know you're going to catch the replay for this. Let me just grab a sip of water. All right, and I think we're going in a little bit of a different direction from our previous ones. Okay, so let's see for Patricia. Okay, so and where are we working with this? Okay, so we're working with some Egyptian energy in this. We're working with some energy of Serapis Bay. If that's not an ascendant master you've connected to previously, Patricia, definitely check him out. He's a beautiful ascension master, beautiful around connecting the divine into the physical. And as you are connecting into that lifetime of Egyptian energy, which so many of us have that soul experience or that soul program, as you are connecting into that, don't feel pressure that it has to be a certain way, or that it has to be like historically accurate based on like what's written down or anything like that. So there's just a message coming through to let go of any pressure you're holding on to around connecting into specifically the Egyptian lifetimes, and just kind of letting yourself be free with that. So working with this lifetime for Patricia. So let's see. And it feels like you had a few lifetimes in this kind of era of Egypt. So the one that we are working with right now, let's take a look for Patricia. This one felt pretty peaceful, pretty, pretty golden agey. It felt very, very nice. Not a lot of heaviness coming down yet. That heaviness and that kind of control agenda was just kind of beginning here. But you were living a relatively peaceful life in this. Near the end of the lifetime, there was a little bit more concern and focus on what was transpiring and where the energy of humanity was going. So there's a little bit of that, and that informed a lot of your soul decisions around coming back in the lifetimes that followed it. If we're picturing things in a linear way, which they're not, of course, in a real linear way, but if you picture them in a linear way, when you wrapped up that life. And of course, everything's happening at once. But when you wrapped up that life, you were like, okay, yeah, let's get back in there. So that really created a lot of fire within you. So that lifetime was really peaceful, really beautiful, and you really experienced that golden age of being in connection and communion with nature, as well as galactic energies there as well. And then towards the end of the lifetime, when things were starting to get distorted, you were like, you know what? That golden experience was so amazing, and I understand the potential of humanity now. So I want to jump back in, and I want to be assisting and assisting and assisting. And it looks like you've had like your guides are kind of giving me a little bit of a rundown of some pretty heavy lifetimes that you went into from then, wanting to bring the light, wanting to bring the light. Anyway, so what we're looking at with this lifetime is really empowerment and really drive and really momentum, motivation, like that fire within you to continue moving forward, that fire within you to listen to the voice of your soul, to listen to your intuition. So that was such a normal part of your life in that beautiful golden age and that beings of connection and that living in this harmonious relationship with the earth and the cosmos and everything, just like absolutely gorgeous. So that then near the end of that lifetime, as things were disintegrating and distorting a little bit for humanity, it was just so clear to you what you had to come here to do. So a lot of us are going to resonate with having a lifetime where we experience that repression, that oppression, that distortion of control, that distortion of humanity, and that um, kind of evoked one of two pathways for us. That evoked the pathway of kind of a little bit more of a victim energy, or that evoked the pathway of empowerment energy, just depending on where you were at, right? So, what we want to do with this is we're going to merge those. So this is a little bit of a timeline work. So Patricia, you worked with some pretty high level energy in this lifetime. And so we're going to get to work with some of that as well. So what we're doing here is we are merging timelines of being a victim, any even little tiny bits. If you don't ever think of yourself as a victim, great. But we're just anywhere that you're kind of have that storyline of powerlessness, or have that storyline of yeah, disempowerment, really. And we want to move it into the energy of empowerment, move it into that energy of I am already in my most empowered state. I am empowered, I am clear, I am focused, I am present. We want to pull that in. Okay, so let's take a look at how exactly we're running this. We're literally just doing the timeline work. Okay, this is cool. Okay, so anybody that wants to do this, definitely we're going to do this. So there's a few different ways you can operate with this. Okay, so we're going to do the actual energetic one, and then I'm going to give you an exercise you can do later on as well if you feel guided to do it. So we're going to just take a moment and breathe. And as I mentioned, there's galactic influences in this lifetime from Patricia's as well. So we're going to visualize, sense, or imagine that we are being held and being supported in the galactic time grid. So we can just visualize, sense, or imagine you're literally in space. You can just also let this go if it's not resonating with you. Visualizing you're in space, you're there with your galactic time guide. So this is a guide that helps you to work with timelines and helps you to work with like time in general. So you are calling in any supportive guides in this space. We're going to visualize, sense, or imagine. We're going to ask to be shown the timeline of disempowerment that is affecting your current now reality. So you're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine. Maybe it's like a tube of light, and that's got that timeline in it. That's got that potential reality in it. That timeline that you're still connected into, you're still operating on, that's holding the energy of disempowerment. Now, it might be big or it might be just subtle. You're just going to ask to be shown that. Then we're going to visualize, sense, or imagine. We're going to ask to be shown what is your most empowered timeline? What is your most powerful, empowered timeline? And again, just visualize, sense, or imagine. So we're going to basically see two strands. They almost look like skipping ropes. These two strands, and you're going to see your most empowered timeline. That strand is just emitting golden energy. Again, that's the representation of that golden consciousness, that golden age, that potential, what's available to you, who you really are. And you're just going to set the command. Really good. It's commanded to merge these timelines, to bring over this timeline of disempowerment. Start to bring it closer. You're not going to put it all together yet. You start to bring it closer. And now you're going to see them side by side. You're going to notice that the timeline of disempowerment is a little bit heavier. Maybe you're noticing it's a little bit kind of dark or cloudy. It's not as easy to see. It's not as clear. So we're going to visualize, sense, or imagine that timeline of empowerment is getting brighter and brighter. And the light from that timeline is now affecting the timeline of disempowerment. So that one that's kind of dark and shady, it's getting just like the sun is rising in the morning, and it's just clearing, it's clarifying, and it's dropping the illusions. So it's dropping the illusions from that timeline that you are holding on to, illusions of disempowerment, illusions that you are not capable, illusions, doubts, anything like that. So we're just letting that, just like a sunrise energy, going into that timeline, really, really good. Just keep breathing with that. And then slowly you're going to see that distorted timeline, the vibration begins to shift on it and it starts to become golden as well. So it's just like tuning forks, right? When you hit one tuning fork at a specific frequency and you've got another one nearby, they're going to both start resonating at that frequency. So we're just bringing up the frequency of that timeline. We're going to set the intention to merge these two timelines, dissolving all those energies of disempowerment that you are holding on to. So for everybody, so for Patricia specifically, it's working through from last lifetime. For everybody else listening, any timelines of disempowerment that you are running that are connected into karmic energy, that is connected into this lifetime, as well as karmic energy, we're dissolving, deleting, transmuting, and completely letting go of that need to have the experience of being disempowered, that need to have that experience on a soul level. We're just going to allow that to dissolve and allow that to reconnect in. Good. So this is helping to reprogram karmically as well. A lot of us have decided when we came into this life, we're going to learn through some struggles. We're going to learn through some disempowerment and things like that. Now we're moving into a point of ascension energy where we don't need to do this anymore, but we're really used to it, right? We're really used to learning that way. So there is a conscious kind of shift that's going on here where we can be a little bit more observant in our life and we can, still move through challenging things, move through heavy emotions. Those parts are going to stay. That's a part of the experience, but the suffering aspect and the disempowering aspect is what we are kind of shaking off a little bit. So by merging those timelines, we're sending a message and we're sending kind of that we're sending that decision that we are learning now more from a level of empowerment and a level of observation than that disempowering or heavy level. So we're just going to take a moment and breathe in this space. So we're just going to visualize, sense, or imagine those timelines are fully merged, fully connected. We're going to just take one more moment here and we're working with this Egyptian energy just for one additional moment with that golden consciousness energy that Patricia worked with in that lifetime. I've got soul experiences of it as well. So they're kind of all merging together. And many of you who are listening do as well. We're going to do just one visualize, sense, or imagine you're sitting down on a golden throne. Just allow yourself to sit on that golden throne. And just visualize, sense, or imagine yourself relaxing on that golden throne. And we're going to activate the energy of this. And this is your divine empowerment. This is your drive and momentum forward. And it's not like you're going to get off this call and maybe you're going to want to like do things right away and feel really clear, feel really good. But it's more about kind of your own timing. So you may need extra rest today, or you may need to be out in nature, whatever it is you need today. But that energy of empowerment is going to be simmering under the surface so that when you're perfectly aligned to it, that action is going to be easier to take. It's going to be more clarified and clear to take, more impactful. So we're going to visualize, sense, or imagine sitting on that golden throne. And we're going to call in that golden divine empowerment energy. And again, a little light language here with this. Just breathing. And again, this is just connecting you back into your truth, into your divine empowerment. There's so much galactic energy in that one too. Really, really good. So we're just going to take another breath here. And just let that go. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick scan through. So the time is technically up because I said about 45 minutes, but I'm just going to go through quickly and answer just the first thing that kind of pops up here. So as Marlu's saying, what past gifts are coming online? I'm going to check in with this. Work with water energy. Okay, anything further with this? No, I'm giving you just that piece. Work with water energy in some way. Programming water energy, working with water energy, remembering how much of your body is water energy. So there's something connected into water energy and programming that is coming online for you, Marlu. So check that out. Gita says, I've been seeing myself in another life every day for the past week. However, I'm unsure how it's related to my current physical moment. All right, let's check this out here. Okay, so let's check this out for Gita. What does she need to know about this? Let go of the pressure to understand or know exactly why it's coming up or what it's coming for, and just let yourself kind of sink into the energy of it. How does that life feel? What feelings are you noticing in it? And then what feelings are you noticing in this life? So it's less about kind of the logical connection between A and B, and more about the vibrational connection between A and B, which can be more feeling based. It might not necessarily be a similar storyline or something that makes a whole lot of sense, but vibrationally, there's something in that lifetime that will empower you in this now reality. So just let yourself kind of feel into the sensations without needing to bring the mind on board, just keeping it in the feeling body, and then notice what comes up there. All right. So with all of that said, I thank you guys so much for joining me live, and for everybody for checking out the replay. So we're just going to kind of ground for an additional moment here and just set the intention to receive whatever you need to receive, and that you are grounding, anchoring, pulling everything in and through, returning your energy body back down to normal size, pulling everything down through the soles of your feet, all the way into the earth, and right down into the center of the earth. Awesome. All right. My total pleasure, Michelle says. Amazing again, Tracy. I got to go and get grounded. Thanks. Yeah, you do got to go and get grounded. We all do. Awesome. So yeah, I encourage you guys to get outside as much as possible. My total pleasure. Thank you. And enjoy this full moon energy. Have a bit of a party for yourself and have some fun with it. Let any emotions go that need to go. Move your body. The moon is really going to do a lot of the work for you right now. So just trust in whatever you're feeling. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me live, and I will see you again. Bye.